Hi, I'm Marie Tennessee of Tax Key, and I'm delighted to make this presentation to you today around the Irish tax considerations around practical succession planning for both businesses and for families. So we've quite a comprehensive agenda on this session, and we're going to cover quite a lot over the 60 minutes. And the idea really is to go into the various issues that can come up at a relatively high level, touching on the main points. And obviously then in specific circumstances, drilling down, in client advice, needing to drill down into relevant parts. So to begin with, we will do an overview of succession planning, succession planning and the taxes around that falls within an overall context and what the objectives for the clients involved and also some common challenges. We will look at those. We will look then at the tax considerations specific to retiring shareholders of a company, what they need to think about from an Irish tax perspective, what the reliefs are. Then we look at, say, remaining shareholders, those owners, say, after a shareholder has exited the business, has retired, what are the tax considerations for the remaining shareholders? We look at practical succession planning strategies around, what are the differences from an Irish tax perspective around, gifting shares versus selling shares. Trusts come across our desks a lot, and when they're useful. At times they can be tax efficient, at times they may not be tax efficient, depending on the circumstances and the objectives of the individuals involved. We'll discuss family partnerships, and they're really gaining popularity, if you like. We're getting a lot of interest in family partnerships, and there's some very good reasons for putting family partnerships in certain circumstances, so we will look at those. We'll also look at legal aspects to bear in mind, obviously needing to bring legal advisors in a practical scenario, but just some headline things to bear in mind around shareholders agreements, wills, and when there's not a will, what happens from a legal perspective. And finally, we'll wrap up with some practical scenarios and case studies. So the aim of this course is we look at the practical Irish tax considerations for businesses and personal succession planning. The tax reliefs can apply, whether it's a business succession or a personal succession, but we look at it in different scenarios. We look at the strategies that can be employed and how challenges can be overcome. And the idea is when we're looking at succession planning, particularly for a business, one of the main things to think about is obviously the individuals involved and, safeguarding their finances and safeguarding their wealth they've built up, but also ensuring the business continues. And that, there is a meaningful transition and that minimizes the disturbance for the business.